ticket takers, they are busy this afternoon. It's a packed house at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Another tune-up for Marco Gonzalez, vying for the 5th spot in the rotation. Greetings from Jupiter. Baseball comes your way next. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and today from Roger Dean Stadium. It is the final week of spring training as the St. Louis Cardinals play host to the New York Mets. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. That's the Matt Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Hard to believe a week from tonight, we will be at Wrigley Field in Chicago to kick off the season. The final week of spring training, what is this like?
In my mind, this is the toughest week of all spring. You know, you're itching to go, you're ready, you've been down there for 5 weeks, you're bored, you can't wait to head north, and so you really do have to push it, and we still got a few jobs that we're going to find out who makes the team.
And a very important start here today for Marco Gonzalez. He gets the call for the Cardinals. Dylan G for the New York Mets. Mets-Cardinals coming up from Roger Dean Stadium. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by a reminder from Budweiser, designated driver, and enjoy the great times. And by Mid-American Chevy dealers. Come in and visit and make your move to Chevrolet today. Roger Dean Stadium. What is a cool day here in Jupiter, Florida, and an awfully windy day, especially out to right. It was home run after home run hit over that right field wall earlier today by both the Mets and the Cardinals during batting practice. It is blowing hard out to right. So ideally, I guess, Al Raboski, the idea would be make sure you keep the ball down, keep it in the ballpark.
Well, and hopefully you face a lot of right-handed hitters and let the wind do you a favor and knock the ball down.
There's a look at Terry Collins, 4th all-time in wins for the New York Mets. His lineup led by Juan Lagares, the center fielder who won a Gold Glove last year. Curtis Granderson in right, and then David Wright will bat third. Lucas Duda, Michael Kadire, then Reynolds, Recker, Tejada, and the pitcher Dylan G. 19th overall pick back in 2013, will not turn 24 until next February. The youngster has already played a big role for the Cardinals in postseason play a year ago. Lefty Marco Gonzalez.
And he's having a tremendous spring. He's 3-0 and just a microscopic ERA. That's with 3 starts and 1 relief appearance, only 1 run allowed. So with the emergency start for Jaime Garcia, Gonzalez gets a chance right now to impress the Cardinals front office, the brass, and we're looking forward to watching it.
There's the numbers you alluded to. .71 ERA, 12 2/3, 4 walks. He has struck out 7 and going 3-0. Don't be fooled with what you see in spring nor in September. Not to say that Marco hasn't pitched well, but the idea is certainly in spring training there are certain lineups that do not feature major league hitters. This one, for the most part, sees an everyday lineup for Terry Collins.
Yeah, the final week, you know, you got to stretch out your regulars. Now, the thing about Gonzalez, you talked about how young he is, but he's about a 5-year major league veteran with his head.
He knows how to pitch.
He knows how to pitch. He's got a good understanding. He really has impressed me more so than, you know, any of these young kids in a long time, just with his respect of the game and his intelligence.
The 1-1 to Juan Lagares is in there for a strike. Calling the balls in strikes today, C.B. Buckner, Mike Estabrook, Adam Hamari, and Jeff Gooney all on the bases today. The 1-2. Just missed down and in. Lagares, I mentioned earlier, won the Gold Glove last year and then finished up very well down the stretch. 323 from August 22nd through the end of the season as his bat really picked up.
There's 3 pitches on the inner part of the plate that you would take any time. As a pitching coach, you'd say right there, and he hadn't got a call yet, but Derek Lilliquist very pleased.
And the 3-2 lifted into right. This could be an adventure today. Hayward is there and makes the catch, running up against the wall. That is a perfect example of just how windy it is and how it's going out to right.
Yeah, 2-time Gold Glover out there in right field, Jason Hayward, and he's tested here because that ball just comes on moving into the corner, and you see he hits hard into the wall. But we're going to see some good defensive play in right from Hayward.
Now it's Curtis Granderson. He was launching the baseball during BP, so these left-handed hitters could have a field day. He's had a good spring with 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, and hitting .447.
And the Mets have just been crushing the baseball. Second best average, but their home runs have been phenomenal, leading the Grapefruit League, and also their on-base percentage. They say this guy is a different player.
Last year he was in left, he was in center. This year he'll be in left field with the addition of Michael Kadire. Hasn't played there a lot, only 8 times coming into this season. A year ago, 3 balls and 1 strike. And it's a walk. So 1-out walk to Curtis Granderson. Let's meet the Cardinals defense presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Holiday in left with Grichuk in center and Hayward in right. Carpenter, Peralta, Cosma, Adams along the infield, and Yadier Molina behind the plate. Jason Hayward, Gold Glove winner in 2012 and again a year ago, and he has dazzled at times with that glove here in spring training.
Marco is being cautious with Granderson. Now he wants the ground ball double play.
And he gets it. Out there, double play. 6-4-3. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first.
It's March.
Double play ball off the bat of David Wright for Marco Gonzalez to end the top of the first. Matt Carpenter will lead it off for the Redbirds, followed by Jason Hayward, then Matt Holliday, Adams, Peralta, Molina, Grichuk the start in center, and then it's Cosma and Marco Gonzalez. Dylan G, starter today for the Mets, was 7-8 a year ago, made 22 starts, and the first pitch is taken for a strike.
See the numbers here in spring training, but he was supposed to be in the bullpen. He was not going to be in the rotation with the return of Harvey.
That's ripped into right center field. Carpenter, wide turnaround first. He'll stop there with a leadoff base hit.
Dylan G, with Zach Wheeler going out with Tommy John, will be in that rotation. And he's made 46 consecutive starts of 5 innings or more, and that's the longest streak, active streak in the major leagues. But greeted rudely, got that off-speed pitch up, and Carpenter made him pay. Cardinals definitely have advantage with the left-handed bats they have with that wind blowing to right.
Jason Hayward parked his first home run over that wall in right this past week. He has one extra base hit this spring. And he takes a fastball. And if this is any indication, like the top of the first and that last pitch was, it is a tight zone from C.B. Buckner. One ball and one strike. Going back to what you were talking about, Al, and the consistency of Dylan G, at least giving you 5 innings. Longest streak in the majors, as you mentioned. And it's also tied for the 4th longest streak in the history of the Mets. Pedro Martinez and Tom Seaver. And then Dwight Gooden had 50 of those. Hits it the other way. Carpenter thought about going to third. They'll throw behind him, and they got him. So base running mistake by Matt Carpenter, and that's the first out here at the bottom of the first.
Credit, it's a base hit because he got to second base as after he rounded that Kadire, the newest Met, throws out Carpenter. The Cardinals have been much more aggressive. The thought is to try and go first to third, but sometimes you got to use good judgment. But Mike Matheny is saying, well, if we're going to make errors, we're going to make errors of aggression.
And the Cardinals did that against the Mets just 2 days ago, running on Travis d'Arnaud. Today it is Anthony Recker behind the plate. The Cardinals among the league leaders in steals in all of spring training action. Hayward is a threat to steal. That pitch taken inside by Holliday.
Repeat that again for our fans.
Which part?
What second, in the National League in steals, the Cardinals.
I like it.
Hopefully, yeah, I do too. There was an emphasis last year in spring, but it didn't carry over.
And we can't emphasize this enough with the wind blowing out to right. Both teams, when they were taking BP, even the right-handed hitters were trying to take everything the other way and get it up into the wind and over the wall and right.
But, I was watching both Matt Adams and Hayward in batting practice with the wind and the temptation to put on a home run derby. They were working on trying to hit the ball to left field if it was a pitch that was away. Exactly what Hayward did on his base hit to left.
3-0 on Holliday. Big gap in left center. Hayward is running, and the pitch is a base hit to left. 3 consecutive singles to start this game for the Cardinals. A look at the defense for New York this afternoon, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Kadire, Lagares, and Granderson in the outfield. Wright to Hot on the left side. Reynolds, Duda on the right side of the infield, and Recker behind the plate. Here's Matt Adams with 1 home run this spring and 6 RBIs, hitting .250 with runners at first and second.
That was Curtis Granderson saluting somebody.
Peralta waits on deck. And Adams takes a ball.
You know, Dylan G in many ways is and Marco Gonzalez are similar. You know, they both have their best pitches a changeup. Both of them don't have the blow-away fastballs, but they know how to pitch and they know how to work the corners.
1-1.
One thing we've seen is Dylan has gotten some of his pitches up, but you know, you get a guy like this, and even though he's given up 3 straight singles, his defense helped him out, and he's looking for the double play ball. If you make a mistake and let one of these big guys turn on a ball, a left-handed hitter, you know, it's going to be a 3-0 Cardinal lead.
Rotation for the Mets will feature Matt Harvey back off of Tommy John, Bartolo Colon, their opening day starter, Jonathan Neese, a lefty, Jacob deGrom, the rookie of the year a season ago, and this man, Dylan G. Runners go. Double steal pays off. Second and third, and only 1 out.
Boy, I feel for Recker a little bit, the catcher. You know, you can look over the bench. Because the trail runner, and that's Holiday at first base, he has to make sure, watch Holiday, he has to make sure the lead runner takes off. So if he throws to second base, he can get Holiday, the trail runner, but neither infielder, and it's really the shortstop, Tejada, was not there to cover. He never even made an effort to get to second.
The 2-1. Adams pulls it foul. Near the Cardinals bullpen. The fans that sit on that berm just beyond the guys sitting there in the bullpen. A lot of the kids sit out there and get the autographs and the pictures here at spring training. 2-2 the count. Lagares in center is awfully shallow for a power hitter. Adams. And is it a catch? It is, and it's a double play. So he lines out to the shortstop, Tejada. He steps on the bag. 3 hits and nothing to show for it.
Am I missing it?
Difference maker last postseason, and certainly a guy in the conversation to be a BJC Healthcare difference maker this year. He's in center today, and that's Randal Grichuk. May surprise you a bit. You know, you think about Holiday and Carpenter having a ton of at-bats. They're going to play every inning of every postseason game, but Randal Grichuk started every postseason game last year for the Cardinals.
And I'll tell you what, he has had a very, very impressive spring, and we're going to see him start a lot of games in St. Louis this year in center field.
Lucas Duda. Very good defender is Grichuk. Can play all 3 outfield spots. And with the Cardinals lineup being very left-handed heavy, and Grichuk hitting from the other side of the plate against lefties, he's going to see playing time.
But Dan, and you and I know that, you know, last year, his first season with the Cardinals after being part of the David Freese trade with the Angels,
beats the shift. He was jammed and muscles it out to left in a single for Duda.
Grichuk just showed the great power, and power is Duda's game. Duda is one of those guys that just really can't hit left-handers. But a lot of left-hander starters, particularly guys that are in the realm of Marco Gonzalez, a lot of times they have more success against right-handed batters than they do against the lefties.
The big offseason acquisition for the Mets, trying to improve an offense that was close to the bottom in Major League Baseball a year ago. That's Michael Kadire. He's had a very good spring. 5 home runs, 7 RBIs. Former batting champion with the Colorado Rockies.
He's a professional hitter, and he can be an RBI man, do everything you want. The only question is, can we keep him healthy and in the lineup?
I see you signing autographs all the time, but especially here at spring training. Your penmanship is actually legible. So when someone goes home, they can say, I have an autograph from Al. Matter of fact, you can read it. What's interesting is Michael Kadire takes great pride when he signs an autograph for anybody, kids, parents, and he learned it from Harmon Killebrew when he was in the Minnesota Twins organization. Killebrew would tell the young players, you want to make sure and have an autograph that is legible and that people know, I met Michael Kadire, I met Torrey Hunter. And Kadire said he took it to heart, and that's why for the longest time he used to wear number 3 to honor Harmon Killebrew.
And Harmon Killebrew, and boy, we miss him, but you talk about one of the nicest men in all of baseball. Over 500 home runs, but what a prince of a man. He was just a wonderful, wonderful individual.
Here's a 3-1 pitch, and Kadire now sees the count run full.
And as we take this, here's where a pitcher can elevate the ball up there, and you can get a lot of swing and misses because it's above the strike zone, a pitcher's pitch.
Runner goes, and only play for Matt Adams is to step on the bag. So advancing, it's Duda from first to second. 1 out, and it brings in Matt Reynolds. So both teams being aggressive here early on and running the bases.
This is a young man that is from Tulsa. 2nd-round draft pick for the Mets. He's a non-roster player, and he and Pete Cosma are good friends. Pete's a couple years older. Breakout season last year for him. Reynolds hit .355 at Double-A. Then got promoted to Las Vegas. Hit .333. After high school, and a private high school in Tulsa, he went to the University of Arkansas. And they say he's, really doesn't have much power, but he can play all the infield positions, and he's really kind of opened up the eyes. That got off to a slow start in the minor leagues, but last year a breakout offensive year.
A real concern for the Mets going into opening day is the health of their what would be everyday second baseman Daniel Murphy. The 2-0 pitch. Good changeup by Gonzalez.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that great changeup that Gonzalez has. And these guys might have faced each other, in AAA last year, so it's even more impressive. Marco did not face the Mets in the regular season.
Yeah, aggressive. City.
The 2-1. That changeup is ranked as the best changeup, #1 in the organization recently by Baseball America. It's an improving breaking ball, and it's a changeup that he'll throw back-to-back against righties or lefties.
Oh, if it's as good as his is, you don't have an overpowering fastball. He spots it well. But you touched on that improving breaking ball, curveball, and a cutter.
Here's a 2-2 instead of check on Duda at second base. The lefty-righty splits for Marco Gonzalez. Lefties just 143. No home runs. Righties much better, 267 with 4. The 2-2.
Remember, late in the season when Marco was, and particularly in postseason when he's pitching out of the bullpen, extremely effective. And so you've got that factor, or you also, does he win the 5th spot? Or do you send him down if you have protection to where you just let him pitch every 5th day? But he's going to be in St. Louis for a long time eventually.
Does he get the call? 3-2. So Cardinals manager Mike Matheny with a week to go as we open up the regular season, the entire Major League Baseball season, next Sunday at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Here's a 3-2. Into center field. And the catch is made by Grichuk. 2 outs. We forget Marco Gonzalez was the winning pitcher in games 1 and 4 of the division series against the Dodgers.
He's 3-0 this spring. Some guys just have a knack of being on the mound at the right time to pick up those wins. But he also was effective enough to earn those.
Anthony Recker at the plate. 243 this spring. No home runs and 7 RBIs. Travis d'Arnaud, the often injured catcher, is coming off a surgery in October to remove bone chips from his elbow, will be the everyday catcher for Terry Collins and the Mets this season. 2 balls and no strikes.
And you might wonder, as you see the pitch count at 31, they really are not afraid to push him to, say, 80 pitches today, because he has been in the rotation, has been getting multiple innings in his relief.
The Cardinals yesterday, if you did not hear the news, they traded lefty Sam Freeman to the Texas Rangers.
I don't like that at all. Yeah, he's out of options, so he'd have to clear waivers, and he probably wouldn't.
The second walk issued by Marco Gonzalez.
But we're talking about that tight strike zone again. I read someplace, Dan, that the umpires were instructed to have a smaller strike zone because they wanted to increase offense. Well, nobody wants to see walks, so I guess the only thing is try to tell guys to throw the ball down the middle and get crushed.
There has been talk of that, as well as maybe looking at revamping how the strike zone is called. Would they bring the strike zone up to bring more offense into the game? So you're going to have pitches up, and it's all about offense, and not to the benefit of guys like you, the pitchers.
Well, it's double-edged sword. When I pitched, there was a higher strike zone, and obviously you always hear keep the ball down, but there's that fine line. A pitch up in the strike zone works to a hitter's benefit. The pitch up above the strike zone is a pitcher's pitch. We saw that with the Kadire swinging at a high pitch, I think it was.
1 ball, 1 strike on Ruben Tejada.
Just call strikes and the hitters will adjust.
It was Ruben Tejada's job when Jose Reyes signed his big deal to come to Miami, and he never really took it and ran with it.
And I talked to Terry Collins Friday, and was talking about Tejada, and they were very disappointed. He came into spring training and he was way overweight, and once again he kind of said, well, I'm content with maybe a backup job.
That starter's job then would go to Wilmer Flores. The 2-1 ground ball, and it's tapped foul. He definitely does not give you power, and certainly does not give you power at home. He went 778 at bats without a home run at Citi Field until going deep in his final at bat of last year.
And the kid, Flores, was a much better offensive player, and defensively he held his own.
2-2 taken high, and so with a strike zone that appears to be tight, Gonzalez, pitch count is being elevated. We're only in the second inning, and he is nearing 40.
Well, and this is a concern to me. You know, when you talk about Martinez and Gonzalez.
Runners go, and it's nowhere close, and that's ball 4. So back-to-back walks, and Derek Lilliquist, along with Yadier Molina, out to visit, maybe settle the young man down.
Well, he's too smart, and he has his emotions always under control. It's just right now, it looked like he looked down at his pitch. Things are not going. But this is one of the problems. You know, the question was asked to me earlier about is spring training too long? We know that today's players work out year-round. You know, they're in great shape. It's too long for position players, but it still seems that you need 6 weeks for the pitchers. And this is kind of at that stage, and it's all around baseball. Remember the last couple starts, Lester had to take time off. Verlander right now. We're hoping that's the same situation with Jaime Garcia, that you hit a dead arm stage, and you kind of just have to pitch through it and build back to your, the arm strength. So
there's 2 outs, and the bases loaded for Dylan G. Duda, Recker, Tejada, all aboard. Outfield is shallow for the Mets pitcher. No balls and 2 strikes. With the pitcher up, Marco a good chance to get out of this jam. See Dylan G, drafted by the Mets, 21st round in 2007. Popped up to the right side, and the wind will push that foul and into the seats.
That would have been a little pop-up right around the foul territory, but with the wind blowing to right, it was beyond anybody's reach.
One of the first games we had this spring, Jason Hayward made a diving catch on the mound in the Cardinals bullpen, and you were just hoping he was going to get up.
Absolutely.
It was a heck of a play, though. Here's an 0-2. And a ground ball. In the hole, Peralta, force play, and got him. Just in time. Ooh, is that close? So the Mets strand the bases loaded. Peralta leads it off when we come back. Midwest brings you the Cardinals season preview. Jim Hayes checks in with Colt Wong, and Ricky Horton joins Pat Paris for their predictions and questions for the 2015 season. Watch the Cardinals season preview Thursday after the Cardinals-Mets game on Fox Sports Midwest.
Ricky going back to St. Louis today, but really looking forward to seeing Jim Hayes, the Cat, and Pat Paris.
Everybody's back. The gang is back, Al. Our first game will not be next Sunday. It'll actually be on Tuesday. The second game of the regular season. That'll be our opener on Fox Sports Midwest. Something to keep in mind with the new pace of play clocks that does not include being a part of it when the pitcher makes the last out. So that's why we've had a little delay here. But the games have moved at a nice pace. We've seen that because of the clock. Here's Johnny Peralta, who set the Cardinals single season record for home runs by shortstop with 21 a year ago. He has one this spring, 1 RBI, and batting above 300. He's just a steady player.
I was going to say, I just think he is more comfortable this spring, a second with the ball club, and I look for him to be even more consistent. Remember, he got off to such a slow start. First couple of only hits he had were home runs and nothing in between, but boy, did he give us a solid year offensively and defensively.
Hits it to the right side, and it's a base hit. The second baseman, Reynolds, was very close to the bag. Little seeing eye single there for Johnny Peralta.
But you know, there's a great example of making contact, putting the ball in play. It was kind of a defensive half swing, and yet, as you said, he beats the defense, and it pays off that way. So maybe a pretty good pitch, but he makes contact and gets rewarded.
In step shot here, Molina. Molina hitting .265 this spring, no home runs, 1 RBI. Short lead at first by Peralta, big gap in left center, and it's a double play ball. Out at second, out at first, double play. So both teams have turned a double play early on, 2 down, and it brings in Randall Grichuk.
I was standing behind the cage today when Grichuk was taking BP.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Mike Matheny was next to me, and every swing and contact there was a wow or you know, straining his neck to see how far. You know, it was routine to hit it over the scoreboard and the batter's eye. And with the wind blowing to right, he was hitting them out in left and center. It was, and even shots to right were just, you know, mammoth shots.
Mike was asked before the game, has Randall Grichuk been the most impressive player in camp? Is it safe to say that? And he said, without a doubt. I would say Grichuk has had a great camp. Pete Kozma's had a really good camp.
And we forget about how young he is, too. I mean, this is an extremely young player, Randall Grichuk, and unlimited potential. And power is probably his biggest asset. The ball just jumps off his bat. And he's going to be a good, complete player. He's pretty close right now.
Here's a 3-0 pitch. And he draws a walk. So a 2-out walk, and the 8th place hitter, Pete Kozma, comes to the dish for the first time this afternoon. All Pete has done this spring is hit .459 and played all over the field.
And you can tell how confident he is. You know, he is out of options, but it's not a concern because he's going to St. Louis.
He's earned his way on this club.
Oh, no doubt. And as you said, he play all the positions, and
Kozma chops it to second. And Dylan G is through 2 unscathed. We head to the third. The top of the lineup against Marco Gonzalez. Lagares, Granderson, and David Wright coming up. And you can follow every Cardinals game wherever we may be. Mobile phone, mobile devices. Download on the App Store or visit Cardinals.com. It's MLB at Bat. Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. Spring training home of the St. Louis Cardinals. As Juan Lagares looks at a strike. I think it surprised a lot of folks. You say Gold Glovers and you mention the name Juan Lagares.
And when you talk about Lagares, it's the first of many.
He's outstanding.
Because of his defense, he was going to play every day. The question, I mean, even if he didn't hit a lot, but all of a sudden this spring, he has done both. Power's there, the on-base percentage is there, you know, and the great defense. He's emerging into an outstanding player.
And a ground ball that is hit to second. Over to get it. Cosma just gets it out of the glove in time for the out. As a matter of fact, Lagares, that was the first Mets Gold Glover since 2008. Former Cardinal Carlos Beltran and David Wright. Prior to Lagares, the last two to win Gold Gloves. Here is Curtis Granderson. Had a nice long conversation down on the field during batting practice with Curtis. He does so much in the community, Al, and he is the kind of player that you want as one of your faces if you're Major League Baseball, because of what he does in the inner city, the fact he can produce on the field, but a difference maker off it as well. So he hits a double with one out here in the top of the third.
And Dan, I think maybe it's important to hear what he told you after you had that long conversation with him.
Well, he thanked me.
That's what I mean.
He said, thank you for getting the word out on what I do. I appreciate it. I mean, here's a guy that wrote a check for $5 million a couple of years ago so they could add on to his college in Chicago so that inner city kids, college kids, high school kids all would have a chance to play the game that he loves. So it's a $5 million ballpark. And when he was drafted, he told me, by Detroit, they wanted him to go to extended and do different things that would take away from his schoolwork. And he said, up front, he told them, I'm not doing that. You can draft me, but I've got to finish up my degree first.
That's great.
He's got a business degree. Neat guy. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, and you know what? They said he's a completely different player. Came over from the Yankees. First time I saw him with Detroit, I thought he'd be there forever. You know, I was impressed with him. Then he had the big start hitting home runs with the Yankees. They signs a 4-year, $40 million contract, come to the Mets. And I think he kind of got lost in that, trying to be a home run hitter in a much bigger ballpark, and particularly right field, that he, you know, this year they say he's really relaxed and having a lot of fun, obviously.
Good pitch to right, but just missed, and out to visit is Molina. And just to finish the story on Curtis Granderson, I said, who was your idol, your mentor, your biggest influence growing up in Chicago? And you had a couple of major league teams that you could have followed. And he said, well, it wasn't a baseball player, it was my dad. He said my dad was a guy that worked with a lot of kids that needed help, worked with those that were hearing impaired. He was a teacher, and he said my dad has been undoubtedly my greatest influence. Neat guy, Curtis Granderson. The 3-1. Drops in for a strike to David Wright. They need this bat to be big and be the old David Wright. As Pete Cosma is trying to keep Granderson somewhat close to the bag at second base. The 3-2.
David Wright had, you know, what, career lows and, you know, home runs, on base percentage, all kinds of different things last year, but he had a bad left shoulder and eventually ended his season early last year. There you see the numbers. You know, you look at that 2010, he's an MVP type caliber player.
Good changeup on a 3-2 pitch, and he strikes out a 7-time All-Star with that 3-2, David Wright.
And Dan, when I talked earlier about saying this guy is a seasoned veteran at such a young age, there was the pitch that signified it. When you can throw a 3-2 changeup And, you know, David Wright's looking for a fastball, and he's trying to hit the home run. But he can do it, and he can sell it with his great mechanics. And it's a pretty good pitch that's so close you will swing.
Some of the big news around Mets camp has been the talk of a potential long-term extension with this man, Lucas Duda, knocked out 30 home runs a year ago. Runner at second base is Granderson. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Remember last year, early spring training, Ike Davis, Lucas Duda, or do we go get somebody? They finally got rid of Ike Davis, kind of turned it over to Duda. Doesn't hit left-handers well, but boy, he put on a show.
Throw down to second, and just back in there safely is Curtis Granderson. It's fun to watch that man throw, isn't it?
Well, you can see Yachty's so aware of not only his pitcher, but everything on the field. And you can see there was the intent there. You know, sort of a semi-pitch out. They're going to throw it on the outer part of the plate, but he's in sync with, you know, how he does with the first baseman. It almost looked like...
Duda lines it out to left field, and it drops in for a hit. Granderson will score, and it's 1-0 New York as Lucas Duda is 2 for 2 against the lefty Marco Gonzalez. 1-0 Mets on top.
And Gonzalez, as I say, he's that kind of left-hander that sometimes he'll have more success against right-handers, hitters, than he will lefties. But the Mets have to like it because Duda hit under 200. There's the big curveball, and it was lazy, and he left it up. Holiday tries to make a catch. It goes off his glove, but, you know, it was do-or-die play for Holiday, kept it in front of him, but it allowed Granderson to score.
So 2 outs and a runner at first, and Michael Kadire at the plate. He grounded out to first. 0 for 1. Yeah, Duda last year, of his 57 extra base hits, only 4 came against left-handed pitching.
And what was it? Maybe 2 of his 30 home runs were against left-handers?
I believe so.
So
third most in the National League behind Stanton. Led the league with 37. Then Anthony Rizzo, the first baseman of the Cubs. And then third, Lucas Duda. Popped up. Cosma calling off Adams and makes the catch. Wynn playing tricks with that baseball. Lucas Duda, a 2-out base hit to left to score Granderson. 1-0. Mets on top. It's Oakland, 1-0 the Mets on top of the St. Louis Cardinals. There's Jose Oquendo, and a long conversation in that dugout, I'm sure, about the pop-up and dealing with the wind.
Absolutely. And you know, Jose is recognized as the best infield instructor, and you would think the way the wind is blowing, that ball would have kept on carrying towards the right field foul line. And yet, at the end, Cosma had to kind of scramble to his right and haul it in. So, you know, I'm sure Jose's talking about, okay, you look at this wind, you do this, but you don't overly commit, because it can come back on you like you did, and he made a play. But it was a difficult play. He made it, and that's good.
Here's Marco Gonzalez. We know he can swing the bat. Base hit into right. Right on cue. Thank you, Marco. Gonzalez made his major league debut against the team he grew up cheering for, the Colorado Rockies, and that was back on June 25th. And in that game, he also picked up his first major league hit. He was a two-way player at Gonzaga, meaning he was a pitcher and also DH first baseman, and he could swing the bat.
It was a double, wasn't it?
It was.
I remember right. Yeah, it was double. And of course, his dad is a minor league pitching coach in the Colorado Rockies chain, and they were kind enough to let him have the time off to come see his son make his major league debut.
Well, Carpenter's really started to pick things up. He's reached base in 7 of his last 8 plate appearances. Got a scare the other day when he took a fastball from Max Scherzer, second pitch from the hard-throwing righty of Washington, on the leg. Regular season, he was telling me, no problem, I stay in the game, but spring training, they just wanted to be safe and got him out of there. Will this push back into play? Right is over and out of room.
You got that low wall, you can flip over, you're reaching out with your jam your wrist into it. A lot of times, especially this time of year, the final week of the season, how you classify whether it's a good game, if everybody can walk off the field and report healthy the next day.
Yeah, no injuries.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, win, lose, you get your work in. Of course, you'll pay full spring training prices, but you know, it's all about staying healthy.
1 ball, 1 strike. Gonzalez, the runner at first. Carpenter breaks his bat. Right again is over and makes a sliding catch.
Nice play by the former Gold Glover, and David Wright comes charging hard, but you can see, look at him trying to surround that ball. This is about 1/10 of what it used to be like in Candlestick.
Dropping about 40 degrees, too.
Correct.
Some chilly nights. Candlestick Park in San Francisco. You think about the health of that organization and how it pertains to overall health in the game today, but you know, back in 1992 they were almost the Tampa Bay Giants.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was one foot out the door and coming across the country to Florida, and now it's one of the healthiest franchises in all of sports. Slicing and getting down off the bat of Hayward. Gonzalez, he will score. Hayward on his way to third. And in there with a triple and a tie game. It's now 1-1. Great effort by Kadire in left. Came up a step short. Triple for Jason Hayward. We're tied up at 1-1.
Oh, Kadire's played a lot of first base and right field, so a little bit different going to left field and coming off the bat of a left-handed hitter, and particularly this wind. This ball's going to keep on slicing away from him in the corner. There's the great effort, but when you come up empty, but as a pitcher, I appreciate that effort. And if it gets by him, hey, I should have made a better pitch.
Now it's Holiday with Hayward, the runner, at third. Infield is back. Outfield is deep. 1 out. Breaking ball that's popped up and foul. Cardinals already with 6 hits. The Mets with 3.
You got a professional hitter and RBI man and Matt Holiday, so You hope this run comes in. The Cardinals have had a little trouble driving in runs with less than 2 outs down spring, but last Friday, the Cardinals got on board the first run with a sac fly by Holiday.
The 0-1. What were you saying about guys getting hurt in the final week of spring? This is one batter and player the Cardinals could ill afford to lose. He single-handedly carried the Cardinals, it seemed like, in the second half of the season offensively, as they get some equipment to Jason Hayward.
And sliding gloves. Protect the fingers. Or not the fingers, but more the wrist. You know, you want to. Some guys have a habit of putting their hand down and injuring their wrist when a slide.
Yadier Molina a year ago.
Exactly.
The thumb.
We used to be taught to put our hands up.
The 1-1. Fly ball. There's the Gold Glover. Makes the catch. And the throw to the plate. Not in time as Hayward scores. Holiday picks up the RBI. The Cardinals have their first lead of the afternoon. It's 2-1 on Matt Holliday's 5th RBI this spring.
And that's what we talk about. You know, everybody thinks you got to drive in and run. You know, sure, it's great to get a base hit. Or you have to drive it in, but the only way to do it is a base hit. Sac fly, base hit, or ball hit to the right side. You know, there's different ways to do it and making an out a productive out.
Here's Adams, who hit into a double play his first time up. As he lined it to short, Cardinals had runners at first and second, and with that, lined into a double play. Base is empty for the big man. Looks at a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. On a hop to second. The Cardinals get on the board, and in doing so, they have their first lead. It started with a single by Gonzalez. Hayward the triple the other way. Holiday the sac fly to bring in Hayward. 6'5", and he can run. 2-1 St. Louis.
Hey, boys.
Presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. RBIs for Hayward and Holiday, and the way that things are shaken out here in spring, Hayward will be the number 2 hitter in the lineup with Holiday to follow. On paper, a very good lineup. Big names, guys that have had big careers. It is very left-handed, though.
I was going to say, I mean, I like Hayward and I like Holiday and I like Matt Adams, the three together. But you know, you got two lefties at the top. You got a right-hander, a left-hander, two right-handers, and then two left-handed hitters before you get to the pitcher spot.
Reynolds pops it foul. It's now 1-2.
There's going to be some opposing managers they're going to love if they've got some couple lefties in the bullpen. They're going to love to bring those guys in and mix and match and try to neutralize the left-handed bats. That's why a Grichuk or a Mark Reynolds is going to be important. I was a little surprised that the Mets didn't have any interest in Sam Freeman.
And they are looking for left-handed relief. Josh Edgin, you know, Matt Harvey and Zach Wheeler get so much of the attention, being their big starters that have gone down with Tommy John surgery. Well, Edgin was very good against left-handers out of their pen a year ago. Lefties hit just 185 against him, and he's done for the year with Tommy John.
Yeah, and it's my understanding that the Mets were one of the clubs that Cardinals contacted, and they said, nope, we're not interested.
Here's a 2-2 in the air. This could be an adventure. The wind blowing, and it drifts to Hayward, who makes the play. See Alex Morgan, Abby Wambach, and the U.S. women's national team take on New Zealand. That'll be April 4th. It's coming up at Busch Stadium. For tickets, visit ussoccer.com. Adam Wainwright was showing his support for World Cup play last year with the face painted and the red, white, and blue, and a big soccer fan himself. Big swing and a miss by Wrecker.
And Dan, I think it's, you know, I've heard a lot of the rumors that when, and we say when the new football stadium is built in St. Louis, that they would get a lot of use with a lot and lots of soccer.
0-2 with a great history that St. Louis has had with soccer players that have been national stars, international stars. Obviously, the high school scene is one of the best in the country. Rich in soccer tradition.
Not even nationally, but internationally, the games like they had last year, that's going to happen more frequently, too, in St. Louis.
Strikeout number 2 for Marco Gonzalez.
Marco has the ability to spot his pitches. You know, he's got pitches coming in on the right-handed batters, moving away from the righters, in and on the left, away to the left-handed batters, changing speed, and a great changeup.
Ruben Tejada is swinging a miss. Marco made the quick jump through the minor leagues last year. Started at Palm Beach, so started here.
4 levels.
And he went 13-7 combined in those levels. No balls, 2 strikes. This facility actually houses 4 different minor league teams. 2 from the Cardinals side and 2 from the Miami Marlins.
And you got the Florida State League, but you also have, like, you know, the summer rookie teams, extended spring, and then what the backfields get so much amateur play in tournaments and stuff during the summer.
And this is the only complex, only stadium to host 4 minor league teams. Jupiter Hammerheads, Palm Beach Cardinals, that's of Class A, Gulf Coast Marlins, and Cardinals of rookie ball. So you love baseball, come on out here any given night. In the center, that'll stay in the ballpark, and Grichuk is there. Peralta, Molina, Randall Grichuk coming up after a 1-2-3. Top of the 4th for lefty Marco Gonzalez. Cardinals on top. All-inclusive tickets, great way to come to the ballpark. All-inclusive means you get everything. Beer and soda, great view of the game, food. Check out all-inclusive tickets at Cardinals.com. Johnny Peralta will lead things off. We have been at Roger Dean Stadium since 1998. To the move from St. Pete through 2002, the Expos. Montreal shared the stadium with the Cardinals until they were swapped with the Marlins as part of the Marlins sale to current owner Jeffrey Loria. And then the Expos, they turned into the Nationals. They moved to Space Coast Stadium in Vieira, Florida. Peralta breaks his bat, pops up, and this will drop foul.
But Dan, the good news is
we're going to be here for a while.
Well, I mean, in 2017, and it's been approved now, the Nationals and Houston will move south on the east coast here of Florida, and they will reside about 5 miles south of our stadium here in Palm Beach Gardens. So that will mean with the Mets, the Marlins, Houston, and the Nationals, will be 5 teams within 30 minutes.
1-1. 1-2 on Peralta, who singled the right first time up.
The problem you have now is if you don't play the Mets or the Marlins, you're making a 2.5, 3 hour trip to play anybody else. And that takes a toll on you.
Good breaking ball by Dylan G. First strikeout of the afternoon.
You said a good breaking ball. You know, earlier it's still a little swervy, but he starts it on the outside and then breaks off the plate. And Dylan G, you know, is one of those guys that, you know, he'll give you that consistent 5. We talked about it. It's got the longest active streak of any major league pitcher of going 5 innings in a start.
And it began with a rough start in this game with 3 consecutive base hits. And the Cardinals in that inning in the first also had 2 steals and still didn't score. One is chopped towards third, and it's a fair ball. Wright was playing on the line, could not come up with it. Yachty is digging for second base. And in there, standing up with a double. One of those really do-or-die plays for David Wright. Very sure-handed. Not an easy play, and it turns out to be a double.
No, real tough play. It's kind of over the bag. It's flirting there. You're trying to backhand. You're trying to get the short hop. And it's like you said, you either connect. If you connect, it's an easy play. But there you see the Gold Glover. And it comes in, and then it takes a higher bounce than what he anticipated. You always want to keep your glove lower because it's easier to come up than to go down. Most balls will go underneath the glove. That one just happened to take a high bounce and goes over his glove and shoulder into the corner.
Now Randall Grichuk following the 7th hit for the Cardinals. He walked his first time up.
Yachty has a glove, and we saw why last year where he missed time, where he slid into third, and to try and stop his slide, he put his hand down him and fractured the thumb.
The 1-0. And last season was the first time in 7 years that Molina did not catch at least 1,000 innings. And he's so important because the pitchers had a collective ERA just over 3 when he caught. And this coaching staff will tell you time and again just how important he is behind the plate.
Well, I was talking to Oquendo during the fantasy camp, and I said, you know, it's kind of complicated games with Reynolds here. You know, could play first or third base, but talking about third base, I say Adams, you know, is hit under 200 against left-handed pitching, so you've got Reynolds, but it kind of takes away the times that you could move Yachty to first base like Cruz catching, still keep his bat in there. And Oquendo started waving. He goes, I love Tony Cruz, but Molina is so important to the pitching staff. He has to be behind the plate as much as we possibly can keep him there. And you can't deny that.
Both Jose Oquendo and Yadier Molina came into camp in great shape, didn't they? Oquendo is back to running again and has dropped a ton of weight. Third base coach that began with the New York Mets. Many of the Mets fans that are watching today know and remember, I'm sure, Jose Oquendo.
About 16 years of age. Got to the big leagues as a teenager, came to the Cardinals in a trade, and Mike Shannon gave him the tag of the secret weapon. And there for a while he wasn't secret because he was starting and doing a great job. Originally a shortstop, but because of a guy named Mr. Smith, he learned to be the and at one time the record holder with fewest errors by a second baseman in the course of the year.
1 out, 2 on. Lined into a double play again. Off the bat of Pete Kozma. Tejada steps on the bag, and the threat is through. We played 4. Marco Gonzalez back out for the 5th. The secret weapon. Cardinals baseball.
Get ultimate.
Gonzalez making the start today for the St. Louis Cardinals. A couple of strikeouts, 3 walks, but he's had some double plays that have helped him out. He's also helped out his own cause with a base hit into right and scoring in the first Cardinal run of the afternoon.
He started that rally when the Cardinals got the 2 runs with that leadoff base hit, and that doesn't surprise us. He's a very good hitter. You documented that. I love the strikeout of right with the runner at second base, on a 3-2 changeup.
And the Cardinals with activity. Gonzalez nearing that 80 pitch count. Dylan G at the plate. Marco was the Cardinals minor league pitcher of the year a season ago as G hits it into foul territory and taken there by Hayward. Replica rings, they're back this year. 2015 St. Louis Cardinals. And some of the great promotions that they have, like the 67 championship ring, the 82, the 1985. Cardinals.com/promotions. By the way, there are still tickets available for opening day. You may think that is sold out. That is not the case. Still available opening day tickets at Cardinals.com. Top of the lineup, and here's Juan Lagares. Some of the lefties that have been minor league pitchers of the year, Al. Bud Smith, one Ricky Ankiel. Ankiel is now what they're terming it and calling it the life coach of the Washington Nationals throughout their entire system. He'll be going up and down and working with those that deal with certain issues. And it could be anything. The Cardinals have that too. They're not calling it a life coach, but it's Cal Eldred, who's sitting next to Mike Matheny, who's making the walkout to, looks like, make a change here.
81 pitches.
We're going to get Randy Choate in this game, so that'll be it for Marco Gonzalez.
Well, and that's part of it. Marco got his pitch count up there, very efficient the last couple innings, and this late in the stages they're trying to get Randy Choate, bring him into games like you would 1 week from today when the regular season starts in Chicago. Cardinals lead 2-1. We'll be back top of the fifth. By Hayward and Holiday. Our Chevy called the bullpen, the veteran Randy Choate. He'll come in here and, like the regular season, primarily we'll have one batter, one left-hander to face. Next week in Chicago, pretty much that series, Randy will only have Rizzo to worry about. And though they got Manus behind him in case he loses, but good job by Marco after kind of a rough start.
The walks hurt him in terms of not getting through 5 on a pitch count near 80. So here's Randy Choate with 2 outs and nobody on to face Curtis Granderson.
And as the game went along, Marco sharpened up and, finished strong, and that's always a plus. And, and it gave a perfect opportunity through 81 pitches. And that was where they wanted to keep it. But this is what Mike wanted, is he wanted to give Randy Choate these opportunities where you come in, you face one left-hander, and that's going to be his role primarily through the season. When he's facing a lefty, he's done a pretty good job.
The 2-1. Randy struggled with his control his last time out.
Well, remember he did last year, early in the season. He couldn't find that slider, but eventually he found it, and it was much more successful.
Hit down the right field line, and that's a fair ball. Hayward gets it back in quickly, and Granderson in with a stand-up double. Granderson 2 for 2 with a walk and 2 doubles.
Gold Glover gets to the corner, played it well, didn't let it get to the wall, gets back in. Now they'll walk with Duda on deck. They're going to walk right. And then you have Choate again facing a lefty. So the double really helped out and keeps, and also with Duda on deck, but it allows Mike Matheny to not have Randy face a right-hander. A guy like Wright might be a tough assignment for Randy Choate if he's not, getting his breaking ball where he wants it.
Well, right now you'd have to say the 2 lefties penciled into the bullpen for the Cardinals after the trade of Sam Freeman yesterday to Texas. We know Randy Choate, and Kevin Segrist would be your other lefty.
And Mike Matheny, I asked him specifically, is Seagrass consistent enough for you? And he said, he's as consistent as what I've got down there. So the big lefty who was phenomenal in 13, just unhittable. And then last year had injuries. He's not throwing like he did in 13, but hopefully he'll get it back to that degree. Not throwing as hard as he was or as nasty with his off-speed pitches.
Here's Duda as a couple of base hits against the lefty Gonzalez and takes a slider from Choate. A good one for strike one.
That's his bread and butter. You see how effective last season. Lefties only batted .093, and you also see why you don't want him to face a righty.
This is more indicative of what you'll see regular season-wise. Randy Choate in exactly these types of spots against those big left-handed bats.
Right. So in Cincinnati, the second stop after Chicago, you got a couple lefties there that are as good as they come when they're right, and both of them, Bruce had an off season, and then the National League MVP a couple years ago, Votto was, wasn't quite himself and didn't have a full year either, but they're swinging the bats well once again.
Randy has come into camp in very good shape. He said he's not much of a guy that likes to do a lot of weightlifting. He did that towards the end of the offseason. He said it's really paid dividends for him. A base hit into right. Duda with 3 hits against the lefties. And with that, it's a tie game. It's 2-2.
Well, and we talk about Choate's slider. It's his bread and butter pitch, but he's got to have it the location where he wants it. Now, Randy couldn't get the lefties out, but you bring in your ground ball specialist in Manus. See the ball over the middle of the plate. It's up, and Duda is having quite the day. And remember, he came in this, I think he was under 100 in batting average, but he's having a day.
So Choate comes in, allows the double, then the intentional pass to right, and Duda base hit to tie it up at 2.
Before every lap.
Takes us to right-hander Seth Manus, and you may remember just how well he pitched in the second half of last year, and he's pitched well here in spring training. 7 1/3 with 7 strikeouts, no record, no ERA. At the end of last year, Manus, his ERA was under 3 in the second half, and more of those late inning appearances too.
Started getting the ground balls. He had a spring training last year that shouldn't have made the ball club, but what he did the year before dictated that he would, and a little struggle. He just couldn't locate, get the ball down, but then all of a sudden got the ball down and he got his ground balls.
So Manus gets Kadire. Be interesting to see what Kadire does out of Coors Field. His career average is around 46 points lower than what he did with the Rockies. 0-2 the count. Runners at first and second. There have already been 6 batting titles for the Colorado Rockies.
Oh yeah, but he's proven that he can hit outside of there, and question they want to keep him healthy. Now, you were mentioning Kadire and how diligent he is with his autograph, and reminded me, and you were saying about Killebrew, well, the Cardinals got a Hall of Famer that we sure missed down here, and Red Cheney's could give some lessons on penmanship to all the Cardinal players. It's getting to the point now, Major League players, you can't read their names or their numbers.
Strikeout for Manus of Kadire, so he cleans it up. However, the Mets have tied it up thanks to Lucas Duda. Midway through 5, 2-2. Coverage all week long as the Cardinals face the Nationals tomorrow at noon. Marlins Tuesday at noon, and the Mets, note the start time there, 11 a.m. Then you can catch the Cardinals season preview report right after the game. Cardinal spring training is on Fox Sports Midwest. We see so many families down here on spring break and taking in the beautiful weather, the sunshine. Chance to see the players and the games up close. That's Seth Manus at the plate, and he flies out to center.
So Molina for the youngster, and what's Dad wearing? No number?
Come on, buddy, do me a favor, just turn a little bit to your left. What's he got?
This is great TV.
Here's Carpenter.
There's some grandma at home screaming, saying, "That's my grandson." There he is.
All right.
Father like son. I've had fun with a lot of kids down here this week.
There's a 1-0. And Carpenter hits it out to left. That'll be caught. And quickly, there's 2 outs. The Cardinals open up against the Cubs a week from tonight. And the last time the Cardinals opened up a season against the arch-rival Cubs at Wrigley Field was all the way back in 1991. There will be some excitement around that ballpark. Understandably so, as the Cubs look to make the jump to get at least above 500, maybe contend in the Central. They're saying all those things that they believe that they're ready to contend.
I understand why that has been picked to be the first game to kick off the season, but most of the time you want to avoid going to Chicago that early.
Cold wind will be blowing in off the lake.
Maybe till late May.
Right. A swing and a miss by Hayward. Checks with C.B. Buckner. If it was a strike, he said yes it was, and Hayward strikes out. First time he's been retired today. 2 for 3. We're tied up 2-2. T-shirt is coming up. That'll be Sunday, April 19th. Cardinals will have the Reds in town. It's presented by Pasta House and Coca-Cola. The kids' T-shirt. Cardinals baseball. Tradition meets today. Matt Reynolds. It's Seth Maness, who struck out Kadire to in the top of the 5th after Duda had tied this game up. Lucas Duda, the story for New York, with 3 hits against left-handed pitching and 2 RBIs. Right side of this bullpen, and it is a swing on the check, but the right side of the Cardinals bullpen could be awfully good this year.
Absolutely, and it's going to have to be good, but you know, Maness is your ground ball, double play specialist.
Just going from the back end of it, you have Trevor Rosenthal, who's had back-to-back years, 40 or more saves. You have Walden, a hard-throwing right-hander. Belisle, a strike thrower. Martinez right now penciled in, I would say, into your rotation. Not set yet.
Well, you could see almost a piggyback situation with Martinez Gonzalez. You know, at times maybe you'll come up against a team like the Cardinals that are so dominant left-handed. You start Gonzalez, back him up with Martinez, and then most of the time, you know, say a Chicago team that is predominantly right-handed, you'd have a Martinez start. And so, I mean, there's some nice matchups.
2-2. Ouch. That's what a sinker baller can do to you.
And it hurts. And when you're right, you get ground balls. And Maness, in his brief major league career, all with the Cardinals, has demonstrated that bring him in with a guy on first base, that first batter or the next batter is likely to hit into a double play and get you out of a jam.
Cardinals open up on the road at Wrigley Field, and then we head to Cincinnati before the opener at home. That's a base hit into center field past the diving Johnny Peralta. So base hit for Reynolds, and it brings in Anthony Recker.
But now you have that situation. You have a runner on first base. You're looking for another ground ball. Sometimes they're going to go through for base hits like the one that Reynolds hit.
That's not sinking. That's out to left, and it drops in for a hit off the bat of Recker. Reynolds to third, and Recker standing up at second base with a double. So back-to-back hits for the Mets to start the top of the sixth.
And when you throw a ball and it gets elevated, it gets turned on. See, the ball's up. He's off the plate. The ball, was sinking, but it came right into the sweet part of his bat because it was elevated, and he gets hit hard.
So runners at second and third. The Cardinals will play this with the corners in. That's Adams at first, Carpenter at third, outfield not very deep, with a light hitting Ruben Tejada, who has walked and also flied out to center. You have the pitcher's spot on deck. Manus could get out of this.
It's one of those situations where it's not ideal for a guy like Manus. A lot of times, first of all, you can't strike anybody out if you don't have two strikes. So you're thinking about a pop-up, and he's not a pop-up type pitcher.
There's your ground ball, and a runner will come to the plate. Peralta has the runner held up in front of him. May have been able to come to the plate. He gets the short out between second and third. That's Recker as Reynolds scores, and the Mets back on top. It's now 3-2. I think he had a play at the plate.
I do too. I think it kind of surprised him, and I'm not sure if he had a handle. We'll get another look at it. There's your ground ball, but there was no mentor at third. And you see bad running by Recker. He knows he's got a shirt out there, so he takes it. He concedes the run. And now you hit the pitcher up, so an obvious bunting situation.
Here's Dylan G's 0 for 2. Hit into a fielder's choice and flied out to right. Squares to bunt. Charging from third base, it's Carpenter. That's ball one. So how the Cardinals are playing this is that Cosma is hustling towards the bag at first. Peralta goes to second. Carpenter coming in to get the potential bunt. Adams holding the runner at first. Bunted off the plate, and only play for Manus is to go to Adams, who gets back to the bag. And Tejada advances to second, 2 down.
You talk about the defensive play they had with Adams holding the runner on. Obviously, he holds on, but you have an option whether he's going to hold the runner on and then aggressively charge at first base. But now you see how Carpenter is right there. He has a responsibility everything to the left, and Manus has a responsibility everything on the right. And you saw where Adams just took a couple steps. Maybe he got to the grass. So it was a responsibility of the pitcher to have everything on the right side, Carpenter everything on the left side, and Adams should really retreat, almost conceding that they get the job done.
Back to the top of the lineup. This is Kirk Neuenhuis. Neuenhuis pinch hitting for Juan Lagares.
Boy, he's had a great spring.
Very good defender. One ball and one strike. Three different stints with the Mets last year for Neuenhuis as he grounds it to first. Adams to Manus. Mets strand a runner, but they pick up a run. And they pick up a lead. Midway through 6. 3-2. Metropolitans on top.
Night, Ted.
Bash this year will be on Tuesdays. And many of those nights will feature members of the 1985 National League champions. John Mayberry Jr. is in left field now.
Yeah, they went out and acquired him partly for protection for Duda. He's a very good hitter against left-handed pitching.
Kirk Neuenhuis stays in the game. He's in center field. And he can play all three outfield spots. First saw Major League action back in 2012. Holiday with an RBI with a sac fly and a single. And that one catches C.B. Buckner.
Spring training for them, too. This reminds us, we saw our good friend, Bruce Fromming.
Did you get along with him when you were playing?
I did, because I'll tell you what, his rookie year, we were in Pittsburgh, pennant race, and final part of the season, and we're battling with the Pirates, and Lou was on third base. Dave Justy threw a ball in the dirt, and St. Gian kind of missed it. There was a play, Lou came charging down. The umpire called him out. There was a big cloud of dust, and you couldn't see. The umpire called him out. Red went running out there to argue. They asked for an appeal of the first and third base coaches or umpires, and they said didn't see it. Bruce Fromming was at second base and said, yes, he dropped the ball. And then Danny Murtaugh's going, how can you see it? You're the furthest one away. And the next day, they showed a picture in the paper where Sanguian is trying to hand the ball to Dave Justy. It had dropped, exactly what he saw, and he called it a play right. It was very controversial. He said he had death threats over that game. So I always respected Bruce Fromming. Long time, now an umpiring supervisor, and he said he wanted to pass along his hellos to all of his good friends in St. Louis.
3-0 on Holiday. And a walk.
Times he wasn't the easiest to get along with, but I did like him, and I really respected him.
Mention the name of Red Schoendienst, and Red is going to be part of a very special night we have coming up at the ballpark, part of our speaker series, which is April 20th, as Peter Borges comes in to pinch run for Holiday. Red and Lou together. And that'll be April 20th, Cardinals.com/events. This will sell out. Borges is running, and the pitch is popped up off the bat of Adams. And that'll find the seats out of play.
And this is the first spring training that Red has missed in better than 60 years. A little under the weather, but, he'll be out there opening day at Busch Stadium, and I'll tell you what, there's everybody that in uniform and associated with the Cardinals can't wait to see the redhead. And 93 years, birthday, I think it's 93 now. His birthday, I believe, is February 2nd. And just a wealth of knowledge, great friends to all of us. I had the pleasure of playing for him.
Now, this year marks his 70th anniversary in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
How about that? 70 years in Major League Baseball. One role or another. Borges is leaning towards second. 1 ball, 1 strike. Adams, a fly ball into right. Borges tagging up from first to second. Stops. The ball scoots away.
Got underneath that one a little bit. Or
just a little bit.
We were always trying to see how far, but then our right fielder told us, sit down.
Those speaker series nights have turned out to be just wonderful evenings for anybody that loves the game. You love a particular individual. We've done it with Bob Gibson and Tony La Russa. We're going to have one hopefully with Ozzie and Willie this year, but we've got one penciled in for sure on April 20th. Here's Johnny Peralta with 1 out. Borges, the runner at first. He was leaning.
And Danny, compliments to you, because you're not only moderate those, but it was your idea to get those programs going, and a wonderful time by all, and truly the guys have a great time, and so it's just natural for the fans to do so also.
It's such a relaxed atmosphere, and it's unique too because a lot of fans don't get the chance to go down on the field before the event starts. We have hors d'oeuvres and drinks down there. The 67 trophy will be there, so you can take a picture with that. You come upstairs, and depending on your price point of your ticket, you can have a private reception with Red and Lou. And then they'll come out after a very nice dinner, not the normal ballpark fare. It's put on by the special events department. Borge is back in. So we have dinner, and then those guys will come out, and we'll have a Q&A for 90 minutes, and everybody walks away, too, with an autographed baseball from those two. So it's really a unique event. Cardinals.com/events to get your tickets. Off the end of the bat, and it's 0-2.
Talking about Lou Brock, that's all he wanted as a base stealer, is he wanted to see one move. And if he saw one move, he knew what he had to do. He said, okay, I had to dive, but now I got back easily. I can get another step, but now I know how and when I'm going to go and steal a base against you.
0-2 pitch. Ooh. And Peralta strikes out. Third strikeout for Dylan G. 2 outs, and the hitter will be Yadier Molina.
You know, you talk about a catcher. Now, he knows what he called, but watch what he does. He kind of dekes the hitter by trying to think it's going to be a fastball up and in. And you can, with your peripheral vision, you kind of see that, or they'll tap their glove a little bit to make that sound, and then the last second they slide away, and it was a breaking ball. And, of course, Peralta thinks it's going to be a fastball.
Now, thinking about the history of the Cardinals, and this is Molina at the plate, Yadi is 138 games back of Ted Simmons. Club record. And he had 1,439 appearances at catcher. So Yadi has a chance to break that this year as they pitch out. And Borges still at the bag at first. Ted Simmons, chance to be a Cardinals Hall of Famer this year, along with Joe Torre and some others. And you can see that at Cardinals.com. Matt Morris on that list.
Let me tell you that Ted Simmons in the 70s was as pure a National League hitter as there was in the game.
And to put up the numbers he did offensively, being a catcher with the turf in St. Louis.
Well, and because you hit it so hard, I mean, all the infielders play back on the ball, on the grass.
I'm just thinking about like the heat and the wear and tear of that position.
I mean, he was so durable and so tough.
Ground ball that's hit to short. Go across the diamond to get Yadier Molina. So Borges is stranded. And Dylan G is through 6. 7th inning rolls in when we come back. Mets on top. partner today, the Mad Hungarian, Al Rabatsky. Dan McLaughlin. It's Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Some changes for the Cardinals. Xavier Scruggs takes over at first base. New pitcher in is Jordan Walden. And his last time up was against these Mets and did not pitch all that well. So he's back out there and ready to go. Peter Borges stays in the game. He's in center.
Piscotty in right.
Scott Moore takes over at third base. And the first pitch by Walden is taken for a ball. And still in there, Yadier Molina.
Well, I'm sure he's out there one reason because he wants to get more of a look at Walden. It's going to be a big part of the 8th inning.
This is Cesar Puello at the plate. Two balls and no strikes. Don't be surprised if you see at times Jordan Walden maybe close a game or two out throughout the season. He's done that before when he was an all-star with the Angels. 2011, he had 32 saves, which was 5th best in the American League.
Last season, the Cardinals played in so many close games. There wasn't a lot of offense, so there were times when Rosenthal was 3-4 days in a row, and Walden can alleviate that. I think Mike's going to have to change his thinking a little bit because a lot of times, you know, they'll use guys 7, 8, and 9, and then you're using guys 3 and 4 days in a row. You're going to have some time where there's Belisle in the 7th if he has a real successful.
Ground ball that's hit to short. One down.
As a short inning or something like that, you go 2 innings, and so you can have one of those guys have a day off.
The Yadier Molina bobblehead is coming up. And the bobblehead has all the gloves that you want. It's got the 7 gold gloves, 3 platinum gloves. Central Bank of St. Louis presenting the Yadier Molina bobblehead coming up. You can get that as part of the 5-game or 10-game pack. Breaking ball, it's taken low.
I've already seen that bobblehead. It's very attractive. Be a great addition to somebody's collection.
Here's Eric Campbell with 1 out, nobody on. We've talked about it throughout spring, and for those of you that are maybe just tuning in for the first time, the unique, and I mean unique, delivery of Jordan Walden, where the back foot essentially is in the air when he delivers a pitch. Fly ball, tailing into right. Boy, look at the wind take that all the way to Piscotty. 2 down.
Walden's a big man and a hard thrower, but watch as he leaves contact with the mound. There's a little hop in there, where his back foot, lead foot, left one is in the air, but then his back foot, the one you put up against the rubber, kind of leaves contact, goes up in the air so slightly, and yet he still can be a hard thrower.
Here's a shift for Duda. 3 members of the infield on the right side for Lucas Duda. He's had a big day. 2 RBIs, 3 hits, 3 for 3, and that all came against left-handed pitching. 2 against the starter of the Cardinals, Marco Gonzalez, and then 1 against the lefty specialist, Randy Choate. No balls and 2 strikes.
During batting practice today, even the big boys, Matt Adams is out there practicing bunting, but John Mabry's behind there and goes, all you do is get it down, get the bunt down, beat the shift. And he's going to be a little more effective if they try to do that this year. He showed it, but I think he's going to get a few of those hits because he's realized he doesn't have to be so perfect with it.
The 1-2. Last 2 seasons for Jordan Walden, he was the setup man for Craig Kimbrell. He had 34 holds.
Well, you mentioned, we saw it the other day, he can get in a little trouble with his control, but he also has the ability where we saw one game he struck out the side in the 9th inning with about 10 pitches.
Career numbers for Jordan Walden.
More strikeouts than Eddie's pitched in his career, and he could be that dominant, scary type close down reliever.
He comes over from Atlanta along with Jason Hayward for Shelby Miller. And Tyrell Jenkins as he picks up a strikeout. And it's time to stretch here at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida. First time the Cardinals have gotten duty today. 3-2. On Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Hyundai. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. Randal Grichuk leads it off for St. Louis. 3-2. Dylan G still in this game in the bottom of the 7th. Along with Al Hrabosky, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And Grichuk on the first pitch skies one into right field. One away. It's Puello in the catch in right. Cesar Puello. First time that Grichuk has not been aboard. He had 2 walks in 2 plate appearances. Mets have a righty and a lefty getting loose in their pen. Pete Kozma started the game at second base and has shifted over to short. He's lined into a double play and also grounded out to second.
You know, Pete showing his versatility and even talk about potential of getting in an inning or 2 behind the plate as an emergency catcher.
Well, he is your emergency catcher.
Well, Ty Kelly makes the ball club, and that's a strong possibility. You know, he has had a little catching in his high school background.
And Kozma hits it out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm one, Dan, that think you should use Tony Cruz more often as a pinch hitter. You know, if he's the best option, use him, you know, and you know, an emergency situation, but you know how there's Kelly, switch hitting middle infielder, play the corner outfielders.
Popped up and quickly 2 down. The way that this game started, It's almost shocking to think that Dylan G is still in the game here with the 2 outs in the 7th. Remember, the game started with 3 consecutive hits against him, a couple of steals, and yet he escaped with no runs allowed in that first inning. And after that, for the most part, has settled in.
And a low pitch count, too. Just total 71 right now. So
Cosma is out number 2. Piscotty serves it into right. Cuello is there. And a quick inning for Dylan G, who's through 7. We'll see the lefty Kevin Segrist. He'll come on when we come back. Mets lead it after 7. It's 3-2. Cap is presented by Budweiser. Come your way tomorrow. Washington will be here. The Nationals and the Cardinals tomorrow at noon on Fox Sports Midwest. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. It's a look at Michael Walker, who is penciled to make that start tomorrow. Here's John Mayberry Jr. Crowds the plate. Big man, just like his daddy. Guy that you knew and know very well.
Yeah, competed against Big John, and briefly I was a teammate with him in spring training with the Royals before he was traded to Toronto. I remember when he first showed up, his daddy with the Houston Astros. And Harry the Hat Walker wanted to teach him pop and glide. He just had tremendous power, and he wanted to turn it into a little, Manny Mota type hitter,
The 2-0 to John Mayberry Jr. is taken inside. Mets signed him as a free agent last year at .213 with Philly. Then he was traded to Toronto and hit .208. But against lefties, his career OPS is .857, 3-0.
I mentioned it earlier. They got him because Duda struggled to hit under 200 against left-handed pitching. They were concerned about that, and Mayberry, having a very good spring, is noted to be a very good hitter against left-handed pitching, so he could go play first or play in the outfield.
3-1 is hit out to left. Grichuk falls down and almost still made the play.
He ended up catching it, but it's the old classic. Does he reach into the glove and extract it, constituting a catch, and they get this play right?
Initially, I don't think he saw it. Then he slipped.
Dives for it, but you see it's in the glove, but when he makes contact, if he were to reach in and try to take the ball out and it dropped out, it would still be a catch. So
the Mets have their leadoff man on. Scruggs holding Mayberry at first. Here's Reynolds. 1 for 3 today with a run scored back in the 6th.
One of the things the Cardinal pitching coaches, Derek Lilliquist and Brad Ilsley, have tried to speed up times to the plate with a lot of the Cardinal pitchers, and it's helped out with Seacrest. He was one of the slowest. All you can do is do that a little bit, but you know, you don't give a catcher a chance if you're like 1.5, 1.6 to the plate. If the guy's got a little speed, you have no chance to throw him out, and that's where Seacrest was. And now he's starting to get it down 1.3, which is borderline, but you can get a few guys.
New catcher is Tony Cruz for St. Louis. 2 balls and no strikes. So Seacrest is falling behind in the first 2 hitters. Trying to recover from muscle tears in his left hand. And Al alluded to it earlier, but he was a shutdown left-hander, and it didn't matter if it was lefties or righties in 2013. He was dominant. A historic season put together by Seacrest, and there's a double play ball. Dean Anna to Cosma. Double play. 4-6-3.
A check swing, double play. Perfect.
The ERA for Kevin Seacrest, 0.45.
That's what I remember, yeah.
In 2013.
It's our first look, and you know, kind of a late blooming left-hander. Then he had the physical problems last year, and still trying to regain that form of 2013. We're hopeful, but we've seen that little inconsistency from him this spring.
It was Gary LaRocque that informed Seacrest he was moving from, in the minor leagues, being a starter to becoming a reliever, and they said, look, this is your quickest path to the big leagues. They also moved him to the third base side of the rubber, and those 2 moves have changed the fortunes in a positive way of his career. Here's an 0-1 to Anthony Recker.
One of the reasons why you would move a left-hander like that is so he could get inside to a right-handed batter. And instead of your breaking ball kind of being left over the middle of the plate, you're allowed to keep that ball away from a left-handed batter and in on the hands of a right-handed batter. It's easy for pitchers to pitch to their arm side. And lefties throw a lot, they throw across their body, so it's hard for them to get in on a righty, and that really means success or not.
And a swing and a miss. So Seacrest gets the strikeout, a single, then the double play, and a strikeout. 3-2 Mets midway through 8th. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser, still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Alvarez will be the new pitcher for the Mets after Dylan G goes 7 strong innings. Good performance.
And the first batter to greet him will be Scott Moore. Breaking ball, taken for a strike. Dario Alvarez. 10th appearance this spring. ERA over 5, no record.
He did make 4 appearances for the Mets last year. And there's a possibility the Mets will not have a left-hander in their bullpen. Opening day, Alvarez is kind of the lone guy, the potential, but they could go with 7 right-handers in their pen.
Here's a 1-0. No way they could do that. I mean, they could, hypothetically,
well,
but
they say that Terry Collins is taking the corporate line. I don't mind going there, but you obviously, and playing the Cardinals, it almost seems like suicide not having a couple left-handers in your bullpen to mix and match with all the left-handed hitters.
Moore is swing and a miss, and Alvarez records the first out here in the bottom of the 8th.
We like Moore, don't we?
I do. I mean, he's been in the big leagues before. He told me he was surprised that the Cardinals called him back, but part of the reason that they did is because of his influence with young players and how to go about it the right way.
Yeah, insurance. And you see Terry Collins trying to audition Dario Alvarez for that lefty specialist.
So he gets the strikeout. A right-hander will come in when we come back. 3-2 Mets. With 8 2/3 innings this spring. ERA just over 2. And he will get Xavier Scruggs. Another lefty begins to throw in the pen for the New York Mets. Matt Belisle is throwing for St. Louis. Now this young man may make the team. He's a Rule 5 guy. Sean Gilmartin. He came in, had a couple of key strikeouts in the ball game the other day against a pair of lefties. Time will tell.
Yeah, you said you saw him in college and when he was a major prospect, but he also noted he's not throwing anywhere near like he did. Borges behind Scruggs, who's become an outstanding late inning hitter. In the spring, Scruggs is, when he's hit in the 8th or 9th inning, he's 2 for 4 with 3 walks, including reaching on an error. So it's put him 6 out of 7. His last 7 times he's reached base in the 8th or 9th.
Hits it out the end of the bat.
Jinxed him.
And Thornton is there. And a flip That's Recker, who moves from behind the plate to first base. And Peter Borges will be the hitter with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Borges has been working on a lot of different things mechanically at the plate, trying to almost rework his swing because he's feeling healthy again. He had the hip surgery in the offseason. It's given him a much wider range of motion. He turned with the swing. We know he can be a factor when right with his speed, good defensive player. But can he put it all together? The 0-1. Quickly, nothing in 2. He has not hit this spring. He's at 132.
Was it a week, 10 days ago or so, Mike Matheny told Ricky that Borges was his number 4 outfielder, and some people kind of said, not say Grichuk, and he said no, he's number 4, but just got to start hitting.
2-2.
Yes, he can play defense. Yeah, he can run like the wind when he's on the bases. Carrying 12 pitchers, can you afford to have a pinch runner defensive guy?
Popped up on the infield. Second baseman wants it and has it. Calls off the shortstop. And we head to the 9th. Mets lead it. 7 hits aside, and it's 3-2 with Belisle coming in. One for the Cardinals as we move to the top of the 9th. Ruben Tejada will lead it off for New York. And the new pitcher in for St. Louis is Matt Belisle, one of the new faces. Throws from the right side in the Cardinal bullpen. He actually survived his stay in Colorado and still pitching.
Well, you a young pitcher and you're pitching in Cincinnati, a small home run haven, then you go to Colorado and learn to get the ball down.
Center field, Peter Borges, and there's 1 out.
You learn to keep the ball on the ground most of the time, but he's a guy that is a real workhorse, and he'll be that 7th inning guy.
And his numbers in terms of appearances are right there with some of those lefty specialists. I mean, that's how much of a workhorse he could be.
Yeah, he looks like he really keeps himself in good shape. He's got that good frame. 6'4", you know, and well built and thrives on the steady work. everybody wants to be a starter. And then if you can't be a starter, you want to be a closer. But if you're being used consistently in like 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys, it's so much fun because every single day you got the potential that you could get a chance to perform.
In key spots, too.
In key spots, you know, you're part of victories. You know, the game has become so specialized.
By the way, this is one of the minor league catchers, Johnny Monell, who wears number 19 for New York. He's at the plate, 2 balls and 1 strike. New and ice on deck.
You know, Dan, you know, people have a tendency to say, look at Bob Gibson and think about all his complete games, and pitched in an era where you would have 28 complete games in a season. He's got more complete games in his career than wins. And they say, well, these guys are bigger, stronger, but yet we've created a specialization so they don't ask guys to go complete games anymore.
Early in the season, innings will be at a premium, and you'd have to think, you know, with the starters and how it relates to the bullpen. You've had an awful lot of workload on Wainwright the last 3 years, well documented. You have Walker coming off the odd shoulder injury. John Lackey's 36. You don't know about Martinez. So, I mean, there are some question marks in terms of trying to make sure that you control the innings of your starters. That just missed.
Well, I didn't think about, you know, whether it's Martinez or Garcia or Gonzalez. They're all 3 guys that you got to be careful with their innings.
We saw last year with Ned Yost and the Kansas City Royals how important a bullpen can be. Monell with a base hit. It's cut off by Grichuk, who's in left field. And it's a 1-out hit to get the Mets something going here in the top of the ninth. I mean, that bullpen of Kansas City was awesome last year, late season.
Why they're the American League champions is what they could do at the back end. It's great when it works.
When it works. Here's New and Ice in his second plate appearance. We talked about this the other day, but he has the odd distinction of last year, New and Ice. 18 extra base hits and only 11 singles in 3 different stints with the club. Their AAA affiliate is in Las Vegas, Pacific Coast League, and he was hitting well above 300 midway through August when he got the call-up for the 3rd and final time.
And you also mentioned that he can play all 3 of the outfield positions, and you know, he's so big. You see the 3 home runs and you kind of think he's smaller, but he's a big man.
He is. And he runs well, good defender. Hear it from both sides today, both the Cardinals dugout and the Mets dugout. This has been a strike zone, very, very tight from C.B. Buckner. Here's a 1-1 with the runner going, and it's fouled back.
Runner going, hitter trying to protect, and fouls off the pitch.
This is a more relaxed atmosphere, undoubtedly, here in spring training, to where guys in the pace of the game usually is quicker than regular season. However, I just wonder about the rules and the batter stepping out and how much that will be enforced. Have the players made that adjustment here in spring training? Have they been getting reminded by the umpires? I've talked to some of the hitters. They say, yeah, occasionally umpire will say something. Base hit into center just past Cosma. So back-to-back singles for the Mets.
Well, Dan, it's, you know, in the 70s, Mike Hargrove was nicknamed the human rain delay because he always, after every pitch, foul, took it. He kept 1 foot in the batter's box and 1 foot out and would adjust his gloves and fiddle with this and everything. He was a human rain delay. And he would have a quicker pace than most hitters today. They step out of the dirt surface behind home plate and go on the grass and fiddle with their batting gloves.
There's Cesar Puello. Came in midway through this game in right field. He was at AAA last year, hit .252. Back in 2010, he had 45 steals at Class A. 24-year-old from the Dominican. No balls and 2 strikes. They had a 5 RBI game against the Memphis Redbirds last June. Played all 3 outfield spots at AAA a year ago.
Mets had 7 prospects in baseball's top 100.
0-2 the count. And a strikeout of Puello. So Matt Belisle gets the strikeout. Good late movement.
Yeah, no question about it. And I mean, just like a little tight little slider, a little cut to it right there, and just enough to fool the hitter. And you like to see that. You know, you want to see, sometimes you want to see these relievers get a couple guys on and see how they react.
Eric Campbell with runners at first and second. Just how good will the Mets be this year? Their pitching, starting pitching, even minus Zach Wheeler, would seem to be a strong suit with the return of Matt Harvey. The only team that finished above 500 last year in the East, the Washington Nationals.
And I understand that Las Vegas.
High chopper. Belisle battling the sun and makes the play.
The bookies say the Nationals are going to win, and most people think the Mets going into it went second in the National League East.
Final hope for the Cardinals when we come back. It's 3-2 midway through 9. Mets first baseman Lucas Duda, 3-hit day against left-handed pitching. Couple of RBIs. Lucas Duda, our Budweiser player of the game. Cardinals down by a run. Sean Gilmartin is the new pitcher in for New York, a lefty. Jacob Wilson, who's made an impression at this camp for the Cardinals, a young infielder, will hit. We'll see Ty Kelly as well. He's moved to the on-deck circle.
Gilmartin, interesting story. #1 draft pick, 28th overall by the Atlanta Braves. And then he was part of the Ryan Domit. Sent him to, sent Gilmartin to Twins.
Breaking ball and a strike.
And you were saying the other day when we saw him that you saw him in college. And not as impressive as he was then, but coming back from injury.
Not throwing nearly as hard.
He was a Rule 5 draft pick by the Mets.
He was a player at Florida State. A pitcher there, and a very good one. Jacob Wilson, 10th round pick in 2012 at the plate for the Cardinals. Played a couple of years in the Arizona Fall League, and last season he finished up with Springfield after starting here at Palm Beach.
And I think a lot of people said put him on the radar. You know, it's still got a little seasoning to do, but he'll be in the big leagues at some point.
And he strikes out, and that's how we start the bottom of the ninth. So Gil Martin gets the first man. Now the switch hitting Ty Kelly.
Gil Martin was at AA and AAA last year. He has 0 time in the big leagues.
Ty Kelly has made a nice impression too.
I was talking to Mike Matheny about him, how patient he is, how he works the counts.
First pitch is taken for a ball. I asked him about this approach, and he said it started to really develop for him once the levels of play got tougher and tougher. He said these guys got so tough you may only get one pitch in one at bat that you think you can drive, and so that's where his patient approach has gotten even greater as he's gone on. He's a former 13th round pick out of UC Davis by Baltimore. The 1-1.
Cardinals acquired him in a trade with Seattle, and I was talking with John Mabry today, and we were talking, the Cardinal hitting coach, talking about how tough it is to hit a baseball, maybe the toughest in all sports, and then pinch hitting is even more difficult. And I've always said, you've heard me say that if you're a patient hitter, you're probably going to see a pitch that you can hit from a pitcher. Major league pitcher also. But what are you going to do with it? And the percentages that you're going to be successful with it still is in the pitcher's favor.
Here's a 2-2. And a strikeout of Ty Kelly. That breaking ball froze him. And Gil Martin has struck out the first 2 here in the bottom of the ninth.
Gil Martin, you're right, trying to tell him, hey, I got a lefty here. And, of course, as a Rule 5 pick, they'd have to pick him breaking ball, late break, and fool Kelly. So, good impression right there by the young lefty.
Tell you about the change when we come back. Nice work by Gil Martin with a pair of strikeouts.
We should outlaw the
So a time with the Mets, first big league action last year. Appeared in 6 games.
Out of UCLA, he was 24th round pick back in 2010. Had those 6 games. You see, he's given up a hit per inning, but he's also struck out 9 in his 8+ innings of work.
So it's up to Tony Cruz to extend this game. Cardinals trailing 3-2 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the ninth.
Tony Cruz is going to tie it up, and then Randall Grichuk is going to send us home with back-to-back home runs.
Really?
Yes.
Let's see if it plays out.
Well, doubt me or We'll talk about it tomorrow. Where was that pitch?
Tony Cruz hitting .349 this spring with 1 RBI and no home runs. Odell looked back and the home plate umpires have to say, "Are you kidding me?" to that first pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I had a fun time listening to yesterday's game on radio and hearing Mike Shannon question every other pitch from the umpire. Mike loves the umpires.
A chopper hit to short. This should do it. And the Mets on this Sunday afternoon defeat the Cardinals by the final of 3-2. Goodell gets the final out, and New York wins it 3-2 over St. Louis.
Well, we talked earlier in the broadcast, a successful day down here as everybody's able to walk off the field, and Cardinals got some work. Gonzalez battled, got better at the end, and had another successful day. Just didn't win.
We're back at it again tomorrow. We'll tell you about that when we come back.